Come on, let's go. Hey, super excited for you to join this and watch this video. My name is Dustin Schaefer. I have that side, legendary Coach Rob DeBoer on, and this is actually going out to all it's trainers, gym owners, coaches, and we want to have a kind of really a frank conversation with y'all. I think collectively, Rob, how long have you been in the industry, fitness industry?
I mean, I grew up in the industry. My brother owned a few Gold's Gyms back in Nebraska, went on to play competitive college sports, professional baseball. I did strongman bodybuilding. And, Dustin, I think what brings credibility to this actual conversation you and I are going to have is we both live the life. I had a performance training gym. I've done personal training. Now I do some online coaching, but I think we see the value. And the outcome, I hope, is people will just take a deeper look into what we have to say. We're not here to sell. We're just here to tell. Right. And I think it's very powerful when people see people like you and I that have been in the trenches. We know what you do. We know how it works. We know where it's going and why this should and could be a very vital piece.
Right. I mean, I think it's like well over 50 years between the two of us of collective coaching. I mean, probably more like 70 years. We look at our competitive backgrounds, and the biggest thing is, and you also have a medical mind, as do I. I specialize in cardiac rehab in college, so I've kind of had this unique background myself, and so to kind of give people an understanding of where we're getting started, you actually came up with the name Prove It many years ago. And if somebody's watching this right now, we basically 7+ years ago, we launched the first ever drinkable pure therapeutic ketone supplement and created a brand that was about pursuing better for people. But, it's interesting in the fitness industry, we get this, uniqueness. Some people are very much open to listening to it. And some people are very much like, I don't want to hear about anything. Maybe because the person that told you about it, you don't respect, possibly, or you don't see them as a thought leader or as a smart person or an educated person. But we want to just basically share with you all that this is a pretty huge, valuable asset that you should take advantage of, especially if you're a trainer, a coach, or a gym owner. So Coach DeBoer, Rob, would you kind of tell us a little bit about why a trainer or a coach or a gym owner should really look at this from a business application for their career, as you've created residual income long-term for this?
Yeah. So, I think it takes a special person to be a school teacher. I think it takes a special person to be a counselor. And I also think it takes a special person to be a trainer or a coach. And I got in the health, fitness, nutrition business. I realized really quickly what filled my cup was helping people feel good, helping people feel better, helping people age well. And I also knew this was something that I was never going to be really wealthy at, but it didn't matter because I loved it so much, at least at first, and then I quickly realized, look, let's leverage our time, effort, and energy utilizing things that align themselves with what we do. And Dustin, you brought up a good point. 7-8 years ago when we came up with this concept for Prove It, it was real simple. Hey, everyone has an it. You want to be a better dad? Prove it. You want to run a marathon? Prove it. You want to lose weight or be successful in business? Prove it. And we had access to some very interesting relationships that had access to some very exclusive patents to release commercially to the marketplace drinkable ketones. And I think as great as that is, it's now changing in some ways because I think the initial hesitation for someone like me, and you have the opposite background, is I'm not a keto guy. Well, we've come to realize now in 7 years, this is not at all exclusive to keto. No. If you're a carb person, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, pescatarian, carnivore, whatever it is, this is one of the greatest, realest, truest tools that has now stood the test of time over the last 7-8 years with some of the brightest minds, not just in the keto academia space, but in the health, fitness, nutrition space. And so I would say, if someone is interested in adding additional value, service, but revenue, a business revenue that allows them not only to increase personal revenue and build their business, but exponentially impact people. Dustin, I'm here in Canada right now. I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. I played college football and baseball at South Carolina. But because of this business, I knew someone who knew someone. And now I'm here in Canada with CrossFit gyms that are selling ketones, that are making this part of their business model. And I think that's an appeal to any business owner. How do I expand my territory? And I think that's where this conversation becomes very intriguing. You know, there's some constants that we can talk about. You're a high science guy. In fact, you're a high science keto and then some guy. Like, you know a lot about keto because you've lived it, because you had to live it. I not so much, but what I do know is this is people want better. People want to be a part of something that makes sense. And we have a tool that will allow them to do that.
100%. And, you know, it's interesting. When I looked at this, I was a trainer. And I did specialize in keto, and I was teaching diets and exercise. I was very fortunate. I got an MAT background, and I worked with Charles Poliquin for many years and trained under him to get all this knowledge. But I was basically financially never able to get further ahead. I kind of looked at it. I was like, what's 30 years from me now? And I was always just taking on more time. And people are like, go online, do things online. Well, guess what? I'm better in front of people. I'm not great online. The other thing was I group classes, but then I was working Saturdays. I wanted to have kids and travel. And it was just, I came to the realization that if I don't create a substantial additional income, and it wasn't where I was comfortable at, you know, Coach, I just, for me, it was really weird. Like, how do I do that? And I was very fortunate to say, listen, I'm going to put my ego aside. I'm going to learn from somebody that I didn't necessarily, he wasn't super fit, he wasn't buff, but he understood this model of how to get this conversation and get this product and build a team and an actual business. So can you just touch on if there's a trainer or coach or a gym owner out there that's watching this going like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't know. What do I do? And how can you support me in that? What would that look like?
Yeah, I think one of the greatest things about trainers is they care about people. Like, they really do. They care about people.
To their own demise. Almost.
To their own demise. I tell people, look, we're just low paid lawyers. Like, we charge an hourly fee. You know, some people, look, I have plenty of friends, former athletes, they have their own performance training gyms. And look, they make a great living, but they're confined to those four walls, or they're confined to that city. Now, the lucky few, you know, reach people exponentially online. But again, that is such a high level of competition. So what I would say is this: let's just set aside the science. Let's assume for a moment we have a very credible product that can't be duplicated by anybody else. And credibility will never be compromised. So when we talk about the trainer or the coach or the gym owner or the studio owner, look, the reason people hate, quote unquote, the sales industry, the direct sales industry, the affiliate marketing industry, they don't want to be salesmen. Right. Well, we have a product that I would argue 9 out of 10 people have never bought and tried ever. Like, they don't understand what it is. They still think it may be associated with a keto diet. And, you know, we even have a saying corporately, this is about a drink, not a diet. So let's assume the science is real. Let's assume the patents are real. Let's assume there are patents that validate increased muscle power output, increased anti-catabolism. So these are very good for mood, mindset, appetite, craving control, energy endurance, but maybe most importantly, something you'll never feel, muscle preservation protection. Well, now it's just a matter of making this part of who you are. You share low stress cardio, you share HIIT activity, you share massage, you share all of these health, fitness, aging well, nutrition services because you care and you believe in it. I have a strong belief that anybody that takes a really close look at this will be something you can believe in, which leads to never having to sell, but really just tell what we have.
I love that. And you know, and what's cool about this is that we're going to give you some programs and different strategies, because everybody's like, well, how do I use it? How do I implement it into what I do? It kind of depends a little bit on your model, right? And how some people are socially, maybe email marketing through their gyms, and that might be a strategy we use. We can help create plans for them to help them maximize that experience. You know, and not to get, you know, off target here. A lot of times when people are going, you know, what's the big picture? What is because you and I see this as a huge opportunity. Yet I love working with people. I have to coach. If I don't coach, I feel like there's something missing in me. Mm-hmm. So even though I have this other business, I still spend some time coaching because it makes me really grounded to where I'm at. But I think about, you know, and I don't want to go too long here. I know we're trying to keep this tight, but protein shakes really started around 1950. It took it almost 55 years before it became like a normal thing creatine, back in the early 90s. You think about, this is a huge conversation, and scientifically, maybe the biggest breakthrough we may see in our lifetimes from what it is. And we basically hold, like you said, what if it is? I know that it is as good as it is based off of my background and the scientists I work with. So can you just touch on the power of this product and why a trainer or coach or somebody should actually be so excited about the product themselves, for themselves and for their clients?
Well, look, I think in our industry, you live and die on your credibility, right? If we were jumping to this product or this company or that product or this technique or that technique, if it's not warranted, if it's just for the sale, if it's just to make a buck, if it's just to generate revenue, I think we're missing the mark. Here, imagine if we have something that's very credible, protected by patents, a business model that is proven to duplicate itself with people who are simply willing to share. Dustin, everybody looks for the impact product.
Right.
This is an impact product. I think 9 out of 10 people, if they're being honest, they notice something. If we acknowledge what they should notice, they notice this in the first few days of trial. But we also know this is a day and age of lifestyle change. Look, lifestyle, that's a big word. You approach me with the word, hey, we need to change your lifestyle, I maybe put the brakes on. But if I say, hey, let's make small incremental changes, let me introduce you to ketones, and why that might make sense as one of my clients is because it's going to complement everything that you're wanting to do. As a trainer, I'm looking for people to have lifestyle change. I believe everybody always needs a coach. They may not always need a personal trainer, but we know there's always going to be fitness centers. There's always going to be personal touch and personal development and personal training programs. So this is just a complement that will not only accelerate, but will replicate from gym owner to client, because what is our goal? Universally, every athlete, every client, every customer wants to age well. For me, that's look, feel, perform good as we go. We want to be efficient, effective fat burners. We want to keep and create muscle, and we want to age well. Well, if that's a universal trait and we've got a product that lends itself, that complements the personal training studio or the Pilates studio or the yoga instructor or the stretching instructor, whatever it is, now all of a sudden we've got a business model that fills your cup, because what you do is what you do. We're just adding something else to you. Yes, I'm a poet. Now you know it, right? But the truth is, if people will take a deep look at this, this is probably one of the most natural, seamless fitting products that I've ever seen. Like, it will seamlessly fit in if you believe and understand what it is. And if you believe and understand what it is, you'll want to tell your clients. You'll be unashamed. In fact, you'll be encouraged to tell your clients. And then the backside of that is, hey, you've got a business model that grows itself. I was thinking before we came on here, one of the goals is to take the studio owner, the personal trainer, or the big mega gym owner and multiply our efforts, leverage time, effort, energy. I mean, you and I and whoever shares this video with an owner or a coach or someone in the fitness industry, and it's not exclusive to that, by the way,
right,
but we share that with someone. What's our job to show you how to make this work for you?
Right.
And if they do that, I think we've got something really special. We've already done it. I mean, there's countless CrossFit
all
gyms
over the world.
All over the world. Like, this is, I don't know, 8 years. We're no longer on trial. We don't have to wonder if ketone supplementation, exogenous drinkable ketones is a thing. We don't have to wonder if it's necessary with the keto diet or any diet. Can I have carbs? All of those questions have been asked and now answered over the last 7 years. Now is the time where I told you before we started, I'm starting to put my business cap on, because I've realized over 7-8 years, this is a true consumer-based product. People are going to continue to consume this unattached to an opportunity, unattached to anything else, because it lends itself to what the ultimate goal is, aging well.
It's interesting, and we'll wrap up with this, y'all. And I appreciate your time if you watched this far. If you hadn't, you're not going to hear this part. But if you watched this far and you want to learn more, let's have a conversation. I think we can't give you everything here. That's impossible. We're 8 years we went into developing this and improving it to the world, that this is here and it's making the huge impact that it is. I know we both have impacted, literally millions of people around the world with this, and we're wanting to partner up with the right-minded people that are in the industries that we started in, and are passionate about, to help them get out of their own way, and create a life for themselves that, and help more people. I came to this one realization, and this was hard for me, is I realized after about, I don't know, a year and a half of starting this, that ketones were going to help more people than I ever could.
Yeah.
Now, I just can't get into their DNA. I can't do these things, but what I can do is provide an environment for them to be more successful, and I can still be my coach. I can still be the coach for them to help elevate their lives. And so if you're watching this right now as a coach, you got to use our product. It's the #1 performance tool that's been researched, so it's pretty special. It's not just about weight loss or fat loss. It's not just about the keto diet. It's not about the diet at all. It's really about improving performance, cognition, muscle, heart, body, life performance, and the science is there, and it's true. So I'm going to suggest to you this is that whoever sent you this video, or if it's Robin or I, let's sit down and have a real conversation. Let's talk about your business, your goals, where you want to go, how you want to help more people. What does that look like? Are you planning your vacations? Do you have a retirement plan? All these things matter because this is a viable asset to you. And we're going to be here to support you through that process to help you create a better life. And more importantly, impact more lives. Like I have up here, mission to 1 million. Let's impact millions of people all around the world with what we're doing. So Coach, any last words you have to say to the coaches out there?
I would just say this, Dustin, this is a scalable model. Like we've already done it. You've made millions of dollars doing what we're doing. I've made millions of dollars doing what we're doing, but it also goes to let us show you how to make $500 extra in addition to what you're already doing seamlessly. Let us show you how to make a couple $1,000s with what you're already doing seamlessly. Happy customers are paying customers. Paying customers build your business. And so imagine if you never had to compromise your credibility, if it was a win-win, the research was done, that we're no longer on trial or test. Reach out to us because we can show you how to start, how simple it is to start, and all you have to do is share.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate you, Coach DeBoer. Big shout out there. Truly appreciate all you're doing, and we're going to do more of this because that was really good. And it's just funny because once you kind of get through the other side of things, my heart goes out to the young trainer that thinks this is a way to get rich. That's not going to ever happen. And my heart goes out to that trainer that's in his 40s and 50s, or she in her 40s and 50s, realizing that they're going to wear themselves out doing what they're doing, and they're looking for answers. They're looking for ways out. And I know too many of them. And so we're just trying to give you an opportunity to make that change and come join something that's pretty dang awesome. It's amazing. Truly is. So I appreciate you, Coach. We'll talk soon.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.
All right. Cheers.